Hi everyone, I am Adewumi Adeniyi, and today I'll be talking about transmission of nerve impulses. Transmission of nerve impulses. Usually, information are transmitted along the neuron in the form of electrical and chemical impulses. Take note, information are transmitted along the neurons in the form of electrical and chemical impulses. Okay. Okay. Now, when a neuron is stimulated, it produces an electrical impulse that travels only within that neuron. And before the signal can move to the nerve cell, it has to change into a chemical stimulus. It has to change before the information can travel to the nerve cell. It has to change to a chemical stimulus. Now, for example, this is a neuron. Okay? Now, this is the cell body of the neuron. Then we have the dendrite, okay? And this is the axon terminal, okay? This is the place where the neuron synapse with the next neuron. So if this place is supposed to be a junction between the neuron and another neuron, so we have nerve to nerve signaling, okay? But if it is if the next cell that synapse with this one is a muscle fiber, then we call this place neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction. And this is the action. Okay, sorry, this is the action. Information travel down the axon in the form of electrical stimulus until the information get to the synaptic junction where it synapses with the neighboring cell. Now, let's take a look at what we call resting potential. When a neuron is not transmitting a signal, that is, the neuron is at rest, the inside of its cell membrane is more negatively charged than the outside. See? Now, the difference in charge across the membrane of a resting neuron, which occur because there are unequal concentration of ions both inside and outside the neuron, is what we refer to as resting potential, because it contains the potential energy that is needed to transmit an impulse. And at this resting condition, the neuron is said to be polarized. And usually, the resting potential of a neuron is caused by two types of ions, which are sodium and potassium ion. Sodium and potassium ion give rise to the resting potential of a cell. For example, let's say this is the neuron. Okay, if this is the neuron, okay, now inside this, outside the cell, we have positively charged ions. Positively charged ions. Okay, and inside we have negatively charged ion. Okay, negatively charged ions. Okay, now looking at this, that means the neuron is usually electrically neutral, because when you look at it inside the cell, there are negatively charged ions. Outside it, we have positively charged ions. How is this possible? Okay, now we say that outside the cell we have a concentration of sodium ions, and inside the cell we have concentration of potassium ions. Now can we now have positively charged outside? How can we now say the neuron is electrically neutral? Now, usually when a neuron is at rest, that is a resting neuron, most of the gated channel are closed except the leak channel of potassium. Now, and since we say that we have excess of potassium ion inside the cell, and there is a leak channel that is open, there is tendency for the sodium ion, for the potassium ion to move to diffuse out of the cell, down its gradient of concentration. Because when you look at the mechanism of when you look at the passive mechanism of transportation, you say material move down the gradient. Since we have excess potassium inside, so some of the excess we have to move out. Now, as they are diffusing out of the cell across the cell membrane, now as this potassium ion is diffusing across the cell membrane, it's leaving behind negatively charged particle. Okay, since we said that the cell is the membrane is electrically neutral, when we have potassium ion inside the cell membrane, we need to take into consideration that there are ion particles. There are negatively charged particles like amino acid, proteins, and even chloride ion that balance the membrane electrically. That is why the membrane is electrically neutral. Okay, now as this potassium ion is moving out of the cell, this negatively charged particle is pulling it back into the cell. Now there is now a potential charge, a potential difference across the membrane. Okay, there is a potential difference across the membrane due to this potassium ion being pulled. Now, a point is going to be reached at which the tendency for potassium ion to diffuse out of the cell membrane is contrabalanced by the negatively forced, by the negative charge or potential energy that is pulling it back into the cell membrane, and this is what gives rise to the resting potential of the cell. This is what gives rise to the resting potential of the cell. Okay, let's clear this. Now, take a look at this cell, for example. Okay, now you see sodium ion here, potassium ion here, and here we have a sodium ion. Okay, now I have said the other time that usually for a resting neuron, all the channels are closed except the potassium leak channel, and this makes potassium to be able to diffuse out of the cell. Now, as potassium ion diffuse out of the cell, then the negatively charged particle inside the cell is pulling it back, and this is how the cell arrive at the resting potential of the cell. Let's look at action potential. What do we mean by action potential? Action potential is a moving electrical impulse that is generated by a change in charge distribution, along a neuron. A moving electrical impulse that is generated by a change in charge distribution along a neuron. For example, you tap your finger on a desk. Now, this tapping will stretch the pressure receptor on your fingers. Now, as this pressure receptor on your fingers are stretched, now the stimulus cause a little of the sodium channel on the cell membrane to open. Now, when this cell membrane, when this sodium channel open, some sodium ion move in. Now, when they move in, they carry with them a positive charge that will make an attempt to depolarize the cell. Now, as this little sodium move in, they depolarize the cell a little bit so that more of sodium channel open and more sodium ion now move into the cell. Now, as this sodium ion move into the cell, this causes the inside of the cell to now have positively charged ion, and the outside at that point of the neuron is negatively charged. This means that the cell is being depolarized. The original the polarity of the cell now changed, so the cell is now depolarized. Now, this change in charge distribution that is generated in the cell is what we refer to as action potential. So usually, action potentials are signals that are conducted by the axon. Okay? Now, I said that when a neuron is stimulated, as an impulse passes along a particular point of that neuron, the polarity changes. Okay? So when the portion of the inner membrane of that cell become positively charged, that portion of the neuron is said to be depolarized. Now, let's take a look at this is a neuron. Okay. Now, a portion of it, for example, as you tap your finger, that there is a change in polarity due to the fact that a little of sodium channel open, and then as this little of sodium channel open, sodium ion move into the cell, and this cause more of the sodium channel to open, so that more of sodium ion rush in, so the cell now become depolarized. If the stimulus is great enough to exceed the threshold of the cell. Now, the minimum amount by which the neuron must be stimulated for an action potential to be generated, that is, for the cell to exude or to become positive with reference to the outside of the cell, is what we refer to as the threshold. Okay, once the threshold is exceeded, then an action potential can be generated. So an action potential can also regenerate itself, okay, along the neuron. Now, usually, as the action potential is generated, and then when the neuron is stimulated, an action potential is generated, then the action potential will travel down the neuron, okay, from the cell body, usually from the cell body down to the action terminal. Now, let's take a look at this graph. Let's take a look at a graph. Now, let's say this is a neuron, okay, and usually the resting potential of the neuron is established at -70 millivolts. That is where we generate the resting potential of the cell, -70 millivolts. Okay. Now, here any stimulus that causes the polarity, I mean the negative, the potential of the cell to change, maybe by about 5 to 10 millivolts. Maybe the inside become more about 10 millivolts less negative. Okay, that is enough to change the. That can generate enough stimulus that can change the polarity of the cell, trying to initiate an action potential. Here, let's say we have 55 here, and let's assume that is the threshold of the cell. Now, as there is an initial, for example, as you tap your finger, that the sodium channel open, okay, and sodium ion rush into the cell. Okay, now the inside of the cell become a little less negative. It could have moved to something like around the 55. Now, if this open more channel so that we now have more of sodium ion rushing, the inside of the cell can even become more positive. So you can now have plus 40 millivolts here, plus 40 millivolts. Now, this is what we call depolarization. At this place, the cell is depolarized, okay, because the rushing, as sodium ion rushing into the cell, the inside of the cell become less negative, or it's becoming positive. Okay, this place we talk about depolarization. So there is action potential here, action potential here. This is action potential. Now, this is the threshold. We have the threshold here, the threshold of the cell. Once maybe it could be a tickling, it could be a chemical stimulus, it could be any kind of change that is enough for the action potential, for the resting potential to be depolarized, such that the inside of the cell membrane become less negative. That can give rise to that, and is enough to overcome the threshold of the cell. This can give rise to what we will refer to as action potential, because here the cell is depolarized. Now, as the sodium channel open and this action potential is generated, this portion of the nerve cell cannot remain continuously open, and usually as this sodium channel is opened, then and sodium rushing, the cell behave in a way that the potassium channel will begin to open slowly. Now, as this potassium channel begin to open slowly, is carrying out some of the positively charged particle that causes the cell to be depolarized. Now, as it is carrying out some of this excess positively charged particle, then the potential of the cell membrane begin to change with respect to the outside, so that the cell is now becoming less negative again, trying to reconstitute the initial or the original resting potential. And at that point, we talk about repolarization. Okay, so repolarization begins as some of this potassium ion is moving out of the cell. And some of the potassium ion is moving out of the cell slowly, then the cell become repolarized. So repolarization is the restoration of the original resting potential of the cell. Now, usually more than what is required to reconstitute the resting potential is usually moved out. Okay, for example, the resting potential is established at -70. Now, if it happens that more than what is required of a potassium ion to maintain the resting potential moving, such that the inside of the cell become more negative than the usual action resting potential. The resting potential say is established somewhere around this place. Now, the polarity change so much. The potassium ion move out so much that the inside of the cell now come to something like around -80. This is what we call hyperpolarization. Hyperpolarization. Okay, hyperpolarization, because more than what is required to maintain the resting potential has already moved out of the cell, so that the cell is now more polar than initially. It's more negative. It's more negative than the initial resting potential. We then talk about hyperpolarization. Let's clear this. Now, let's briefly look at ionic transmission. Before and after we've discussed so far the movement of action potential, which we refer to as stimulus, that is moving along the neuron. We say action potential is moving along the neuron from the cell body. The thing travel down to the action terminal. Okay, let's say in the diagram we showed the other time. Okay, maybe this is the cell body of the neuron. Okay, the cell body of the neuron. Okay, now the action terminal is here, okay, usually the action potential travel down like this, and here the cell synapse, okay, with another cell. Now the minute junction between a neuron, okay, and the next neuron is what we refer to as synapse. Okay, if this is neuron A that is transmitting an impulse or an action potential to neuron, say neuron B, okay, this neuron A is what we refer to as presynaptic cell, and neuron B is referred to as postsynaptic cell. Now, usually this at this place, for an information to now travel, because the information travel along the neuron in form of electrical stimulus. For it to cross to the next neuron or to the next cell, as the case may be, it has to change to a chemical stimulus. And usually the neuron head that is transmitting the action potential will release a chemical which we refer to as neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter are the chemical signals of the nervous system. When it releases this neurotransmitter, the neurotransmitter will bind to certain protein on neuron B that is now to be stimulated. And this, as soon as this neurotransmitter bind to this neuron B, it fire or trigger the action potential in this neuron B, and that information will now travel down. For example, if there is the neuron here that is carrying the information is a motor neuron that synapse with a muscle fiber. Here we are going to have what we refer to as neuromuscular junction. We call this way neuromuscular junction. Now, this the information will trigger, and usually at neuromuscular junction, the neurotransmitter is usually acetylcholine. Now, as this acetylcholine is released at the junction, it fire or trigger the action potential in neuron B, and after it has fired the action potential, this neurotransmitter will have to be removed from the synaptic junction. Otherwise, the neurotransmitter will repeatedly firing the action potential, and usually this is how cocaine acts. Okay, for example, when there is an information that is being passed in the CNS, in the brain right now. Now, the neurotransmitter is usually dopamine. This dopamine it will be released by neuron A, and as soon as this dopamine get to the synaptic cleft, it fire the action potential. But when this thing is done, instead of this dopamine to be cleared from the synaptic cleft, okay, this the cocaine will bind to this to the transporting protein that is supposed to clear the dopamine from the junction, from the minute junction between this cell A and cell B. The cocaine will bind to the transporting protein and will not allow it to clear this dopamine from the junction, which means that the dopamine will fire the action potential continuously or repeatedly in neuron B. As a result of this, individual feel excited, feel high. That individual will feel like, I'm on cloud 9. And this is how cocaine acts, that cause the individual to be high. Okay, let's clear this. So usually neurotransmitter are the chemical signal of the nervous system. Neurotransmitter are the chemical signal of the nervous system. Okay, neurotransmitter are the chemical signal of the nervous system. Now, the axon terminal, the part of the axon which impulses leave the neuron, we contain the chemical, okay, or chemical film vesicle that will easily release the neurotransmitter. Okay, let's take a look briefly at the diagram. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Sorry about that. Okay, let's take a look at this. Is the cell membrane of the neuron. Okay, this is a resting neuron. Okay, now here you can see we have a positively charged particle outside, we have negatively charged particle inside. That is reference. That is to say, this cell membrane, the inside of this cell membrane is negative with reference, with respect to the outer part of it, because I told you that time that the cell is electrically neutral, okay, but we are measuring it down because of what I said earlier, that with respect to outside of this cell membrane, the inside is negatively charged, and this is what we call polarized resting potential. The neuron is at rest and is not transmitting any stimulus, okay, but as soon as an impulsive stimulus reach the neuron, such as the tapping or tickling, a little of the sodium channel open and sodium ion move into the cell, okay, then negatively charged particle are here, and then you now have positively charged particle move or rushing. The sodium carry its positive charge into the cell, and inside the cell now become positively charged, outside negatively charged, and this cell is now said to be polarized, okay, and this is the direction of the stimulus, okay. Now when you get to this place, you now discover that the action potential have got to this place. Here repolarization is taking place. What do you mean by repolarization? Okay, he said the restoration of the original resting potential of the cell. That is what we call repolarization. So today we've been able to talk about resting potential, action potential. We discuss polarization. We say when the cell is at rest, when it's not transmitting any impulse, the cell is polarized. But as soon as impulses crosses the cell membrane, okay, and the polarity of the cell change, we say the cell is depolarized. We talk about depolarized action potential, and usually we say as soon as this sodium ion moving and the cell become depolarized, the sodium channel close, and then potassium channel that is opening slowly will now begin to pump out potassium ion out of, so that some of these excess positive charge ion that move into the cell, causing it to be depolarized, will begin to move out gradually. Usually the cell is now said to be repolarized. So there is repolarization is the restoration of the original resting potential of the cell, and I said there is tendency for more than what is required for the cell to be polarized, could move out of the cell, so that the cell could become hyperpolarized. Okay, so that is where we are going to stop for today. Take your time to subscribe to our channel and watch out for our next video clip. Thank you.